Welcome to Reset Today with Stephanie J. You've just tuned in to the show that allows you to reset in any area of your life. So come on and join me. Hit that reset bell and get ready to start fresh. I pray that you are doing well on this day. So grateful that you are taking time to spend with me just a short while I share my heart with you. I am actually playing an instrumental off of my son's SoundCloud page, and you can find him at SMNS. It's all in capital letters. And this particular instrumental he named Power Surge. And I chose this one because I'm thinking, couldn't we all use a bit of a power surge in our lives? There's so much going on, and we can definitely use the power of the Holy Spirit of God for those of us who are actually believers. Man, we need that power on this earth like never before. And so, before I get into this episode, which I'm going to just pick up where I left off, Candid Talk Part 2. And so if you have not heard the last episode, you may want to go and listen to that before I go into this topic, because I will not be able to start back from the beginning. Basically, a quick recap, and then I'm going to let you know where you can hear my podcast, and then I'll get back into my topic. But I was talking about up early in the morning and thinking about all of the prayers that I have been praying since I was a little girl, all of the various prayers, things that I have prayed about in various seasons of my life, and how many prayers that were not answered. And it just began a spiraling of thoughts, and I began to share some things and talk about some things, and I've just titled it Candid Talk, because I am being candid about my thoughts and feelings about this and some other situations. So that's basically about it. Now, A Brand New Day with Stephanie J can be heard on Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Castbox, Google, Apple, Geo7, JIOSAAVN, iHeartRadio, and now Pandora. Reset Today, the show you are currently listening to with Stephanie J, can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, Geo7, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Thank you for all of my listeners. Thank you to all those who make it possible for me to podcast. And the last episode, I ended up losing the entire episode because 2 episodes were uploading at the same time on my tablet, and it uploaded one and deleted the other. And on that podcast, I was giving a special thank you out to my son, Christian, and so I wanted to take the time to do it now. Thank you, son, so much for all that you do to help me. He is such a great helper. He's 11. He just turned 11, and you've heard him on various podcasts, especially on A Brand New Day with Stephanie J. You hear me speak of him from time to time, various things that he does or he's doing. And he is, just outside of being a wonderful child, he is such a beautiful human being. he is like the most grateful human being I have ever met in my life. Just so thankful for every little thing that you do or that he receives. I mean, just sincerely grateful, and he gets poured out on and showered blessings from God, definitely, but between his father and myself, his siblings, some family members, strangers in the street. I was just thinking that we had a neighbor who died, I think almost 2 years ago. Ever since my son was a little boy, he would always talk to us. We were good friends. We had our cleaning business. We cleaned his house and things like that. After his wife died, I prepared some food for his family on a few occasions. So, he was a good neighbor, and he was, pretty sickly, but for a long time, every time he would see us, he would always go in his pocket and hold out a couple dollars and tell my son, come on, man, come on, get it, man. How you doing today, shorty? And, he'd talk to him and stuff like that. Strangers would just walk up to us on the street, and they'd be talking, oh my goodness, he's so adorable, and how old is he, and oh my goodness, look at all that pretty curly hair, and they say, is it all right to give him a little something? And oh my god, he has always been showered, but he is such a blessing to us, and he really helps me a lot throughout the day. I mean, even simple things like we were at Harris Teeter last night, and a lot of times he's with me if I go to the grocery stores. Sometimes I manage to slip off and he's with his dad or whatever, but when he's with me, if I drop anything, I need a cart, he'll go get the cart. If I spill something, he's running by. Don't worry about it, Mom. I'll get it. He opens my car door. His father trained him how to, treat his mother. And so he'll, open a car door for me and things like that. And he just goes the extra mile on a daily basis. He laughs. He keeps me happy and joking. Even some of his jokes are corny. Don't tell him I said that. He makes up jokes, and I mean, he just keeps me in high spirits. He doesn't like to see his mom down or upset or anything like that, but he really does help me out a lot. And so while I'm thinking Amazon and all of these other drivers and the people who make it possible to podcast and my listeners, I want to say thank you to my son, my big helper. I'm going to give you a round of applause and thank you for all the furniture that you put together or help your dad put together, and all the things that you've done around the home, and just for being a good kid. I appreciate you, and I love you, son. All right, and I'm going to move on into what I want to continue talking about in this episode of Candid Talk. I was talking about realizing just how many prayers and how much time I have spent in prayer and on prayer lines and praying in services. And we actually used to go to church just for prayer. And I've done that in several ministries that I've been a part of. I have led prayers. I have been a part of several prayer lines for the last probably about 8 years. And one particular ministry, I was a part of their ministry for about 7 years. Spent many Thursdays on the phone for hours praying and speaking. This particular line, she has people come on and speak and exhort, and you might speak from a topic just like you do when you preach on a service or whatever, a worship service. I've sang many songs. I've been asked to sing, and it is like a real worship service on the prayer line. And I have done this many a times for many years. And then I participated in other prayer lines, and there were some people who heard me on that particular prayer line and asked me to speak or come on and pray on theirs. And so this is going on all around the world. And it's a good thing. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying anything against it. I do believe that it has its place and it can be really effective. But I just started looking at the amount of time that, I spend in prayer, and then I'm looking at the fruit of those prayers. And it made me really start to kind of question my prayer life or in the prayer styles and various things. And I started thinking about looking at the various stages that the body of Christ has gone through, all of the different things that people have taught about prayer. And prayer has gone through many phases. And I just was thinking to myself, as this year is going out and a new year is coming in, it's like, hey, I don't want to waste my time. I've been sounding the alarm. I have done episodes on sounding the alarm, and that goes for my own life too. I don't want to waste any more time. I don't have any time to waste. None of us do, but I'm very, very, very keenly aware of this fact. Time is winding up. My grandma Mary used to say, time waits for no man, baby. It keeps on marching on. And so we have to get with the times, pun intended. That's what people would say. Hey, you better get with the times. Times are changing. And so I'm looking at and I'm contemplating a lot in my life. I have been spending wee hours in the morning when I get up. After I wake up, I rarely go back to sleep. Once in a while I do, but so I'm an early riser. I get up and I'm doing things. I'm reading. I'm thinking about and I'm looking over now the various relationships in my life, and I'm tweaking and I'm thinking, okay, this is not working. No, we've been marching around this mulberry bush for many years, and this person is still doing the same thing. Their conversation hasn't changed. One thing I'm really, really, really getting annoyed with, and I said it on another podcast, and I understand that it is a spirit in the atmosphere. I understand that the enemy is working through people, but I am sick and tired of dealing with people's moods and emotions. Everybody's so super sensitive. And I don't mean everybody as in everybody out there or you. I'm saying everybody around me. I'm looking at people, and some of these people I've known for years, or I've been in relationship, or I'm related to them, because I'm not talking about one person. I'm related to them, and we have this, this relationship. And so these are people that I'm dealing with on and off constantly and for years. And I'm just sitting back and I'm recognizing these same patterns. And it's like, what is this thing when people do this? It annoys me. And I guess people do it to annoy you. So I guess it's working. But what's going on when you're, and this, remember the title, this is Candid Talk. So I'm just being candid. You're texting back and forth. The conversation is going fluently. And I'm not talking about when somebody might get busy or interrupted or something. And to me, that's nothing more than taking a second. You're texting already. So it's like, oh, wait a minute. I need to go handle this, or I got a call, or I'll call you back later or whatever. But why is it like in the middle of texting, people will just drop off without saying a word, and you're sitting there like wondering, okay, is the conversation over? Did I say something? Did you not like my response or whatever? And so I have about 4 people that do this on a regular. And the funny thing is they'll start texting me, and we'll be talking back and forth, and it's like, okay, and then I'll say something, and then it's like the line goes dead. I'm like, what is up with that? Well, I tell you what, 2021, matter of fact, I'm not even dealing with it now. 2021, Stephanie J is not dealing with any of that. You take your feelings and you do as Tyler Perry said.